Next matchup we've got, though, as we move on through the day, is Alutemu versus Staz. Another sort of mid-division brawl going on right now. Staz been doing really well, has a lineup I like outside of the Warrior. His mage is active, his priest is banned.
That's right, and it speaks volumes here about how Alutemu approaches this matchup. Staz, he might disagree with this, but my approximation of his lineup is that it is the closest thing to an anti-priest lineup that we have, like where he thinks that Highlander Hunter is good against priest. He thinks that Reno Mage is good against priest. I wouldn't be too surprised if he thinks his warrior is good against priest as well. Alutemu snap shields his warrior. That really just says exactly what he... his priest, sorry. Yeah. That says exactly what he thinks of the matchup with regards to priest.
Nice decks, bro.
Exactly. You think you're favored against priest? Good one.
Yeah, and I agree in part to what Staz is doing. We find out, as well as we check out the lists that are going to be played out for Alutemu, it's the Quest Shaman, the Zoo, and the Priest. And I do believe the first matchup is going to be Quest Shaman versus the Mage from Staz.
Interesting.
Which is a matchup. I've been playing Mage last day or so, a bit again, because I do actually think it's way better than people think it is right now in this meta. And... hey, Freeze is really good versus that deck. Oh, wow. Like, I feel like I think I lost like one game out of maybe 5 against Quest Shaman.
Interesting.
And I lost it because I just didn't draw my freezes. And then I did one final Tortolan for Blizzard or Frost Nova and got Frostbolt on a full board. I was like... missed them all. So I think any of those options were good. Even some of these weird techs from Staz that, the Kodo, for example, it isn't bad versus Shaman. It's really not so terrible.
Could be not the worst. Yeah, I think that this is a matchup that, weirdly enough, with Quest Shaman and Reno Mage being 2 of the best decks of the Saviors of Uldum expansion, there's been very little overlap between the 2 decks.
They don't clash often, right?
Right, exactly, because when Mage was at its dominance, why wouldn't you play Mage? We were playing Specialists mostly at the time as well, with Masters Tour Soul, and then only 1 week of Grandmasters before Mage was nerfed as well. You just wouldn't have played Shaman when you could play Mage, but now, why would you play Mage at all, is the general thinking of most players, because they just don't think it's strong enough. I, however, am in agreement with you and Staz. I think there's a lot of exploring to be done with this Reno Mage deck.
Yeah, I agree. I think people who aren't at least considering Mage need to rethink their approach, because I think previously, I know like Pavel, RDU, Ball Control, Orange have all brought Mage. Orange brought Mage to the recent Battle Rift tournament held at Take TV this past week, and he got 2nd place. I believe Pavel has had his Mage, and RDU, I think, had his Mage banned out in the past as well. Yeah. And again, if you bring in a deck and it's getting banned, well, it's not bad, is it? Like no one bans the worst deck in the lineup, against their lineup at least. So I think Mage is a good pick, and it's when we've been talking about, we want to see players maybe just go outside the box a little bit, Mage is just a great one to pick up, I think. I think it's just a good deck to slot in anyone's lineup.
I think so too. We'll have to see how it goes against the Shaman, because this is a weird matchup where both decks, it feels to me like at least, are trying to spend their early turns just ramping up to something more powerful.
Yep.
Of course, the Quest Shaman is trying to complete the quest. We know how quest decks work. They've been in the game for a long time now. Whereas Mage is trying to, of course, gear up to still Luna's Pocket Galaxy on turn 7, but also just its legendaries later on. Its early curve is reasonable, but not dominant.
Yeah, and one card that really stuck out to me in some of my playtesting of Mage versus Shaman was just Doom. Maybe I drew Doomsayer early an absurd amount of times, but Shaman doesn't really have great game to a turn 2 or 3 Doomsayer, and it sounds weak because Shaman doesn't play many threats early game.
Yeah.
But having your, say, you being the person with the first big threat on the board as Mage is huge in this matchup, because Shaman doesn't run Earthshock for Twilight Drakes. It's not running Hex to remove it. Like, if you go first, you beat all their minions with any of your average, say, 4 to 5 drop, and that means that you can get ahead. Whereas outside of the Shaman picking up Lackey Generators early and then getting Rush or Deal 2, they can actually kill a Doomsayer, which means you just clear the board. Sick.
And that's why cards, as you say, like Doomsayer and Zephrys as well, can be so crucial in Highlander Reno Mage, because, Zephrys can get you Wild Growth, which does a very similar thing where you're getting to your big threats quicker, so you're probably ahead on board. If you're including Elemental Evocation in your Mage deck, Zephyrus can get you Edwin. If you go for Evocation Zephyrus on 3, then just tempo out the Edwin. Like you say, you can pull pretty far ahead with some tricksy mage plays.
Also, just that's a turn 5 Tiamat, if you want to look at it that way for Staz, which, again, with Rush and Wind Fury, you kill all of their minions. Like, they don't have stuff that contests.
Right, there's a reason why you're playing Elemental Evocation in a deck with only 2 Elementals. 3? What's the third one?
Mountain Giant.
Oh, Mountain Giant, of course. Yeah, okay, sorry.
But yes,
with only 3.
yeah.
It's still insane.
It's really good.
Just Tiamat and Zephyrus on their own are so nuts. How could I forget Giant? Cyclone.
The original
Yeah, exactly.
benefactor of Evocation. See the bounce. This is, we've been speaking a lot about Mage. Bad hand from Alutemu. It's going to start to speed up now, but if you're speeding up around turn 5 and 6, well, that's the speed Mage wants to play at most of the time anyway, so.
It is a bad hand for Alutemu, but I don't know, he's starting to do some powerful stuff. It's not like he has a bad hand and has all the weird tertiary cards in the middle. He's got the powerhouse cards for the mid game.
He has, but those cards translate into 3 more turns before his hero power gets active. That is, 3 turns is a long time.
You don't care, like, you just play like Evolve Shaman, like Jambre Shaman right now. You're just playing former champ, mutate, former champ again, try and tempo out the board.
Interesting choice now.
Probably Divine Shield Rush, right?
Is it that bad?
Do you ever want Wind Fury?
He knows he doesn't have a lackey, so that bounced Wasp, it's not active unless he draws exactly a lackey generator.
Okay, I'm here for Wind Fury.
Time runs out on me.
Think about that tick. Just do it.
I don't think I'd ever actually seen before that called Tiamat's Heart and Tiamat's Wind.
They missed a trick with that one though. It definitely should have been the elements and it'd been a captain planet.
Oh yeah. Tiamat's Earth. Yeah.
Fire.
Tiamat's Wind is just funny though.
So, sorry. Especially if it's one you pick often.
Yeah, who was that? Come on.
Look at this.
Now we're
The
talking.
mutate
Second
pickup
mutate.
is solid.
Whoa.
Oh.
Is that good? It's not very good.
No, mutate again.
It's very nearly very good. Which is unfortunately worlds apart. Okay, fair enough. I'd rather take the trade there and upgrade a 1/1 to a 6-drop next turn than go for a 7-drop there, which are typically not that strong anyway.
Oh, second
What to do? What to do?
Do you just go for that here? Obviously, Voodoo Doll Ping to take out the champ means that Spark can just take out the Zephyrus, so you kind of want to make that trade. And then how are you spending your mana outside of that? This is fair enough, set up for another Tiamat next turn.
Luckily for Alutemu, the Voodoo Doll Ping does not take out the Machamp, because that would be game over otherwise.
Yeah, the second Machamp value trading here could be pretty good for Alutemu.
If it's going to get to, though. It's really fair. Staz is just all minions right now, which isn't necessarily what you want in Mage. You normally want this post, not even necessarily post Pocket Galaxy. I mean, you obviously, in the perfect world, would.
Yeah.
But having no spells means like Staz is actually down on flexibility. So all the Mage spells are so good in themselves, even if you just like completely on their own. Whereas I feel like a lot of the minions work together well or compound to the benefit of the spells.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Because you just start to see very quickly one Frost Nova, a Blizzard, one Flame Strike. Like any of these big plays or stalls are huge. Even a Ray of Frost here. A Ray of Frost draw honestly would be pretty good.
I wonder if Alutemu actually holds back on the mutate here because he knows for a fact, of course, that there is a Tiamat in hand, right?
Yeah, for Rush Divine Shield.
Right, exactly. And so maybe
this
he
is just
saves
already
it
dead.
for Giggling Inventor next turn while it's protected. I wonder if that was better.
Yeah, because now he knows it's dead anyway. It's unlikely to live because the 6 drops don't really go that high in health.
Yeah.
And also, it's like giving Staz a guaranteed good turn.
But Staz has a good turn anyway. If you don't mutate there, he just goes Rush Divine Shield instead of Rush Wind Fury. And then your Giggling Inventor maybe is too far behind anyway. But I'm not sure about that. I think it was.
But then you
close.
protect your 8 drop behind the
Yeah,
taunts,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, which is a lot better than a 6 drop.
What to do? What to do?
Now, of course, Staz presented with another conundrum of does he actually ever not play the CMA in order to get the Luna's Pocket Galaxy down?
Time runs out on me.
You like the CMA? Got to stay ahead on board, and this does it very
Yeah, it's just play stuff. There's so many minions in the hand, so many high costs. Just play it, get it out there. You never want to give Alutemu breathing room here. If you can get ahead as mage. Like, being ahead on board as mage in this matchup does not happen that often. Normally, your benefit is you can snap the board away by using Flame Strike, by using Blizzard, by using Frost Nova. But if you already have the board and your opponent doesn't, like, that's insane. Like, keep having the board. And look at that, turn 7 quest activation. Alutemu.
Very slow course for Alutemu, but he does have some strong plays to follow up with.
And this is where I kind of wish we could see deck track go, because the volume of minions in Staz's deck that's left greatly dictates whether this Pocket Galaxy is worth.
Yeah, it's not that heavy of a list, I think.
I know there's Luna, I know there's Antonidas, right? There's
there?
Giant.
Caligos has been drawn, of course. Giant, yeah. Antonidas not. Oh no, Antonidas is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reno, Mossy
Ziliax.
Horror, Ziliax.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough.
Even just Twilight Drake, Witchwood Piper. Yeah, there's plenty enough in there. It is insane. But of course, Alutemu has his own strong tempo swings. We're talking about, of course, a 5/5 Wasp that does 6 damage for 3 mana. I'd play that
That's a
card.
lot of numbers.
That's like the kind of card that you would play in the Ragnaros versus
Nefarian.
Nefarious. Yeah. Nefarian?
I think it's Nefarian. Yeah.
Yeah.
He might be Nefarious.
Yeah, that would be a bit on the nose, actually, to literally call your character Nefarious.
Bad guy. Oh no, it's bad guy. We thought he was good. Really? With a name like that?
Really good guy? You thought that?
Yeah.
Quiet comedic sidekick.
Okay, that's just a good idea for a show. At least a small webcomic. Like that. I think it's got a little bit trickier. There is the benefit of just Arcane Keysmith can probably get you a decent secret to defend a little bit, but there's a Frost Nova, there's an Antonidas. Guys, just in case you forgot how powerful Mage can be, have a look at that. He just does it, right?
Old school now, man. What goes wrong if you do it? You've just seen a Wasp. It'd have to like bounce Wasp, even then it doesn't kill it. Oh, he knows there's the Rusher in hand, in the Spark. He does not know that all of the country Russia is in his hand, Raven.
I was like, wait. Silver nameplate?
I want time runs
I
out
would
on
have
me.
played this Antonidas so fast.
Yeah, I think so.
And
You even get to snipe off the Giggling in case there's a Witch.
I'll play the Ooze. But yeah, think about it. If you played Ooze and his opponent played Griffin King, then he could get mind control tagged. It's all coming together.
So in terms of actual clears on this turn, Hero Power, Sandstorm, Mogu, and Spark doesn't even come together for a clear. So he has to draw.
What to
Wait, doesn't it? Oh
Isn't
no,
it one off?
One off.
One off. Yeah.
So in that case...
And he has to kill this off, right? It's just game if he leaves it up for a turn.
Is it?
12 damage face this turn, 12 more next turn. Okay,
Does
maybe,
it always
it's not
work out at 12
insta-game.
and 12? I guess my question.
Maybe not.
Because what if you build the board? Like,
Yeah.
you can't just fireball you twice, right? Without
Sure.
without any freeze
I
effects.
think you move towards clearing on this turn. That's what your priority should be. And then if you can't do it, you're sad. Alutemu's sad.
I think you should play the Mogu and just not.
Sure. It's just the most stats.
Yeah,
you can go.
because
Yeah.
if there's fireball, the only thing you bond about is fireball, Ray of Frost, Ray of Frost. Like, that's the problem, I think. But if there's just fireball... God, I'm good.
Wow.
If you could just fireball, ping, and
Yeah.
then hit a Divine Shield,
Yeah.
well, how much damage is on board? Like, you could just be dead.
And now the problem is for Alutemu, even if he gets top deck Life Drinker, he can't play it.
Yeah, should he have actually played the Mogu last?
Probably.
You can always clear it unless Staz goes full MLG and like polymorphs his own Tinnitus and hero powers it. Like, ha
How's that
New?
full
I
MLG?
don't know. 360 polymorph to the head. It's like,
What
boom,
to do?
sheep shot.
Sounds like one of the games that you were bought when you weren't actually allowed to play 16 games.
Sheep of duty.
Someone's out on me.
Oh, it's literally the worst. Like, Ray of
It's
Frost
the
was
absolute-
the pickup because now he can fireball twice. It's the only card that gives him this actual
Yeah,
play.
even Blizzard was like,
Yeah, it's
fine.
not. Yeah, but Blizzard was. Well,
was kinda good at
Blizzard
it.
was bad for stats, right?
yeah.
That's what I mean. This is like the exact card that allows him to set up lethal because any other draw doesn't allow him to just double fireball freely.
That's literally... Alutemu cannot play a card on this turn.
It's like, okay, you win.
Okay,
It's like,
yeah.
like, just look at his hands. No, unplayable. Okay, and I think they obviously.
That was clearly a misplay from Alutemu.
Yeah, obviously Mogu would have been frozen, right? So the idea of, I mentioned that, you play the Mogu last so you can trade it off if you draw something
Yes.
else. Ethereal Lackey for Hex, Heal, whatever. Witch's Brew, for example, could have done something, but the outcome would have still been freeze, and I think it is generally Mogu you would leave anyway because you can play that last for 0 mana.
Yep.
But yeah, that was just game number 1 of the series. Ended in a good way for Staz, of course, and quite convincing. But again, a turn 7 quest activation with such slow, clunky plays till mid to late game for Alutemu did lead to basically Staz just getting away with the sometimes difficult early game of Mage. But just game number 1. We've got game number 2 coming right up. Don't go away. We'll be right back with some more Hearthstone Grandmasters.
That's the extra damage.
That is the extra damage. That is the extra damage. Power shield is lethal.
Did he not get it off?
Okay, yeah, second digits. Re-injuring in the next set. Re-injuring in the next set is the same damage. Oh, no!
Get the attack off. He's torn. He doesn't know what to do.
All right, sure.
That's one way to end it.
Fine. I guess that works too.
Pretty long-winded way to go about finding the end of this game.
For 3 chance.
Yes.
Oh, hey. I choose death. Oh, what is Hearthstone, Derek?
Absolute god, Alutemu, hands up to the sky.
Oda Shaxi, I think when he plays it, will need to have an answer to.
Whoa! He's got the answer.
Yeah, because he can.
Warpath trade and then the rush or whatever. That's game.
Do you like Zoo 2?
I love Zoo a lot. Practice
Thank you. I love you too.
Sorry, lethal. No! That's the nightmare. But he just loses now. He's got 8 arms, he just thwacked all of them once. I've got 2 left.
What a way to go out. Unfortunate.
Stand up on the casting chair with me, TJ.
Nope.
Stand!
I think it would collapse.
Casters, rise up. No, wait. There's much more important things at stake, people. Come on!
Results. They're a lovely thing.
25.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Got another game of Hearthstone coming up for you guys. It's going to be Alutemu versus Staz continuing. Staz getting a win with his mage means Alutemu is on the back foot, but can he come back, Derek?
I think so. Our runner-up for Season 1 of Hearthstone Grandmasters in the Asia-Pacific region was just one of the absolute most dominant forces in that season. I think we can both agree he was the single player we were most impressed by, partly due to our expectations of Surrender. Like, we know how good Surrender is, so we expected him to do well, and he did. Alutemu, we'd heard whisperings about him. I hadn't actually seen him that much on the competitive stage. You know, I'd seen his run at HC Tokyo, I believe it was last year, where he had a good run. But for the most part, Surrender is by far the more well-known and popular of the 2 players. And Alutemu just played so fantastically Season 1.
Yeah, it's one of the benefits, and I feel like I'm like lucky to do as well. But I think like maybe me and Sol cast like almost the most Asia Pacific playoffs throughout the previous years of different versions of competitive Hearthstone. Meant that we got to see like known as Machamp back then, and and Glory and some other players as well. You know, Gundam Flame. Some of these players just very early on.
So nice.
Yeah, it was great. Should have just got good back then, Derek.
Of course.
Jeez, when
should
you
have
were like
listened.
12 or something. I don't know. But honestly, it's just getting to like have watched them then and see where they are now and what they're doing now is actually really nice.
Absolutely.
Just to follow these players a little bit more than I guess the general Hearthstone scene has gotten to in the past. But now we hit the sticking point for me, and I'm sat here waiting to be impressed, and I hope I am. But honestly, this Warrior deck does and has not in the past stricken me as anything that good. I think players who have won with it have won because they played an aggro deck against some decks that are bad versus aggro, not particularly because it was a this Warrior deck or not. I feel like if they queued Zoo, their probably results would be very similar.
I feel like now it's time for us to roleplay as Roman emperors and Staz as our gladiator. He has to entertain us, and at the end, we will give him a thumbs up or thumbs down to decide the fate of this aggro warrior. Because I agree with you, I just don't see the reason why you're bringing aggro warrior to this tournament.
I guess it's if your opponent mulligans like Alutemu just has and ends up with a Shudderwock and a Mogu as his opening hand.
Mogu's good. I would keep Mogu in this matchup, absolutely. But
would you?
Yeah, I keep Mogu in every matchup.
Oh, right, well.
It's insane. It's like the best card in the deck.
Would you keep it in...
Could you with
Control
a box?
Warrior.
Could you in a box?
I don't even know what that is.
Green eggs and ham. Dr. Zeus. It's a
Oh, I
banger of
don't,
a
I don't
book.
recall that.
Did you not?
I don't really recall the line. I know
Oh,
it
yeah,
exists.
yeah,
I just
yeah.
didn't recall that line.
Well,
Fair
there's like, he's saying all the situations of, would you eat green eggs and ham in this? And you're saying, would you keep it? And then I thought, in a box. Would you
Oh,
keep
okay.
it with a fox?
I know more about a cat in a house, something like that.
There's a cat, he's in a house, Summit. Go to sleep.
These books are too fancy for me.
Yeah, that's it. But the start for Staz, as you said, compared to Alutemu, is looking a lot better.
It is.
The overload on Sludge Slurper, again, so annoying, because Alutemu, I think, could quite happily set up for Sludge Slurper, Lackey, and then bounce whichever one survives on the following turn. But obviously not available.
Do you think he ever has to go slower then and just totem up?
Hero power. It's so bad against this Crystallizer, right? Like,
It gets farmed, yeah.
it just gets absolutely farmed, and there's no way to punish that.
And
He doesn't have
also,
a Sandstorm
you can like
Elemental.
coin Frothin, coin anything, Rampage.
That sounds bad to
The Bloodsworn Mercenary, because it's damaged with a buff, for example. It's like all these things are just, you kind of just playing into potential benefits for the warrior.
I hate all the words you're saying. I don't want to hear any of that.
At least you hate them because they're good plays for Staz and not because they're wrong.
Oh yeah, I hate to hear you say it, but I love to hear you say it.
That was not in the Doctor Sleep. Like the Coin Blade Master here, there's literally nothing Alutemu can do about it, right? Oh, I guess Sludge into Rush.
Yeah. If he doesn't get anything better, then I guess that might be what he has to go for.
Because otherwise...
He has to play the Sludge on this turn, right? Oh, actually, no, sorry. He could play the Bog Slosher. Do you just take the trade there against the 1-drop?
It's bad, isn't it?
It's very bad.
Crystallized,
Because
just godlike.
The problem is you want to save Sludge Slurper for the turn when you do go Flesh Shaper, right? So you can cheat it out for less mana.
Right.
I think that's what he would try and set up for. And it's unlikely, in my opinion, that he is able to get the Bog Slosher to hit the Sludge Slurper. So I think I'm actually leaning towards Bog Slosher on this turn. Yeah.
What to do?
It's not a good play. Like, it feels horrible. But
The problem is,
I agree.
in a roundabout way, playing the Bog Slosher makes you further away from a Mogu. Because if the trade
Fair,
happens
yeah.
flat, and then it's a bit of a problem, isn't it? Funnily enough, there's also there's refill if Staz wants it.
this is looking juicy.
Most importantly, to me, this looks like a Battle Rage.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as
Battle
well.
Rage, see what you draw, and then trade Town Cry maybe.
Unless it's Town Crier and Temple Berserker, but I think you take it while you can. Like, there's
What
a
about
good chance
Town
that
Cry
Battle
Battle
Rage
Rage,
gets
right? Because you
Yeah, yeah,
effectively draw more cards sometimes.
Yes. I agree. This is the correct order.
Oh, and now Mummy's just going to tempo down anything that Alutemu even plays. I think even if it was Mogu into the Evolve, that the Mummy could actually just take that down. Didn't go for the Battle Rage, which
Going maximum tempo possible.
we'll see, because the tempo he's gone for isn't exactly high damage output.
Yeah.
Whereas I think 3 cards would have been pretty sweet.
I guess being left with a 4-3 and a 1-2 on board, maybe that's not quite enough against
With
what the Shaman's
3
going to throw
cards
down.
in hand.
Yeah, especially as he almost certainly draws a Restless Mummy as well. So because he would have still played
yep.
the Town Crier, so he still has a strong play next turn to clear up whatever Alutemu throws down.
That's my worry now, is his next 2 plays are 4-drops. When is he playing Battle Rage?
Yeah.
And you've got to time that for when it's actually better than 1 draw.
I wonder.
I don't know, we'll see. Be interested to see how this plays out here. As we can see, the Mogu is available this turn.
Because with draw as well, it's not only like draw extends his ability to play cards further on into the game, it gives him more powerful plays immediately.
Right.
Imagine if you found Bloodsworn Mercenary, something like that. That's when he starts making the really broken plays.
Is it a Bloodsworn turn?
It's probably not on this turn because of how good the rushing minions are.
Funnily enough, it's kind of weird, right? I guess Staz could just go for Militia Commander. Oh, I don't think I like this.
No tune can hold me.
I don't like this.
He's killing it off purely to play around Mogu.
So, well, also MCT.
And MCT, okay.
But
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. But the problem I see is Mummy actually kills bigger minions than Militia Commander can.
Right. Yes.
So I think Mummy's more... and it can kill multiple minions in the
it
same
can.
turn. Militia Commander does exactly the same thing there.
Would have left a 2-2 instead of a 3-1. That's pretty comparable.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
But also,
I agree.
like... I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you should
I think
play
you take
Militia
that while you
Commander
can.
there.
Because imagine now if former champ is played and you have to rush Militia Commander into that.
Right.
You just have nothing.
Or if he just ends up playing a couple of medium-sized minions, well then Restless Mummy can clear 2 things like that as
Sure,
opposed to just 1 and does nothing else. I don't know, I feel like Mummy's way better to hold on to. And also, you arguably, like, Mummy's just a stronger mercenary target if needed.
Oh,
because
yeah,
it's just a higher attack minion.
Yeah. And it's also better to just play into an empty board.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Well, Alutemu has gone for a big board here, and he has Sandstorm Elemental. He got the rush, gets the clear, and now there's just a single 1-2 on the board.
Huge turn here for Alutemu. And I like that he set up for this for a long time. Like, you know, we're looking back early as turn 2. He could have played Sludge Slurper.
Yeah.
He kept it till turn 5 to set up for this Mogu play, which I think was absolutely spot on.
Yeah. And my experience of this warrior is you probably just lose now.
It's going to struggle. Yeah. What are the plays available? Like, Cruel Taskmaster Bloodsworn Mercenary is a very powerful play on the Temple Berserker. So does he just take that now?
Yeah, he has to. So the problem now is Staz has to take the best possible highest tempo turns ever to keep up. Not even to just win, just to keep up. And if he doesn't, he falls further behind. If you fall behind, there's no combat mechanic.
Yeah.
And the problem is, Battle Rage is still in hand. Like, Staz could be, what, 2-3 cards deeper in his deck right now and have maybe better options. But he doesn't because he chose a few other plays.
Yeah.
And also, this Militia Commander, again, is single target. So, you know, that's going to be his layer. I think Staz has to go as wide as possible, and I think this Militia Commander does not achieve that.
I think so too. He could not decide until right up at the last minute, and you can see why. The Cruel Taskmaster, the Cruel Taskmaster did not trade that well.
Should he value trade?
Maybe.
Because the Mogu would have had to go in with a 1-1 to kill the Militia, which keeps... I don't know. This game's going pretty quick, actually.
It is, and Staz still has swing back here with Cruel Taskmaster and Bloodsworn Mercenary.
Surely now.
But it doesn't even trade into the 5/5. Look at this. This is horrible.
You know, would have traded into a 5.
Yes, I do. Wow, it's not even a meme, right? The Restless Mummy would be better here. The game would be kind of different.
Yeah,
Have ended up
it
differently.
would.
But I think the point we're making is that on average, Restless Mummy becomes better later on.
So, in that case, he does the turn but kills the 2 1-1s.
Okay.
Ends up with what? A 4-3, a 4-3, a 3-3, a 2-2, and a 1-3.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, now he's going for Battle Rage and not going to... I guess this still kills off the 2 1-1s, but just doesn't leave as much attack on the board.
I think this is correct.
Which-
he had to get a good
I'm
Battle
glad he
Rage
drew
to have a
cards,
chance.
yeah. Considering I wanted to see it way earlier and you didn't go for it, I think drawing cards is super important. Because if you have all the options, well, your deck becomes way more powerful, obviously. Well,
Yeah, I'm seeing one play this turn for Alutemu.
he can afford to overload as well because Shudderwalk isn't even live next turn, so who cares? He's got nothing else to do. This wrestles board control, pushes 6 damage, and again, Warrior doesn't actually fend off damage. It wants to be the one hitting so hard that it doesn't get hit back.
Oh, yes.
Whereas getting hit back, well... Good job.
Thanks.
And look how weak these cards are now. I feel, although it's not true, I feel like Staz has already lost, and it's not. And Alutemu honestly has not done anything that powerful.
No, Alutemu's starting hand, remember what it was? It wasn't even
Nothing.
good.
It was the quest, which guess
And
what?
Staz
You
had-
always get that.
Staz had an insane starting hand. He had the 1-drops. He curved out very nicely. I just don't get this deck. I feel like, you know, the point of it is to punish Warrior? Sorry, punish Druid, maybe? But I don't even think it's that good against Druid.
Again, you've got to think, right? If Druid just gets to a hidden oasis, like, do you just lose?
And I'm trying not to base this on like a 1-game sample size, or even a few game sample size from what we've seen in GM. But if you look at the matchup win rates of this deck and the way it's been performing in Grandmasters, it paints a very poor picture.
And that no one else is really
No one
bringing it,
brings
right?
it, yeah.
And again, I don't like to be beholden to, well, everyone else is doing this, so it must be cool, you know. But you have to do it at some point, right?
Yeah. It's like when they said, if everyone else is jumping off a cliff, would you? And it's like, you know what, Mum? Maybe there's a reason they're jumping off a cliff, all right?
Have you seen Lucky Number 11?
Lucky number 7.
Slevin. The film.
No.
So basically, there's a character called the Rabbi in it, who tells the main character a story. And he's like, so, you know, I got taught something. The first time someone calls you a horse, you call him an idiot. The second time someone calls you a horse, you punch him in the mouth. The third time someone calls you a horse, you better go shopping for a saddle. Because the more, you know, if so many things lead to the same point,
Yeah.
maybe it is just true and it's correct. And like you said, with results in GM, statistics from ladder, and no other GMs really bringing this deck, those are 3 things. So maybe this deck should go shopping for a saddle is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think Alutemu may be taking Staz down to that Old Town Road in this match because he ain't coming away with a win on this one.
Or if this deck is a horse, maybe Staz needs to take it out of the back.
To glue together his win rate.
Sorry, if anyone likes horses, I do also like horses. There's nothing against that before I get reported or something.
Shout out to my horse fans.
It's just a saying.
Gotta get a nay up in here.
They said horse fam.
Gotta get a nay, man.
So it has to be card draw, right? Like Staz needs to go dig into something
Sure.
to just set up something else.
Yeah.
There are some pretty decent turns, right? That there's the old like Blood Swan Mercenary in a fire with,
Of course,
you know,
of course.
with Leroy. You can achieve large burst damage, but Staz is on full health.
Yeah,
so,
and you have to not be dead.
I mean, that genuinely helps.
Yeah.
And look at this, right? Alutemu's on 28 health, and Staz had a good opening. What happens if Alutemu had a good opening?
Yeah. And I think we can agree we would not have made the same plays as Staz this game in a couple of different situations.
Yeah, and I can't even say like my thoughts on it are that great. I've not played tons this deck because I don't think it's good. And Staz assures us that he has tested it. It has good win rates in the matchups he wants to win.
Yeah.
So, and I believe him. I don't think Staz is just lying to us and just picked a
Obviously
random deck
not.
to queue. I 100% believe him. But from what we have seen, it doesn't consistently get the job done. And again, you can argue about sample size. Absolutely fine. Relatively small sample size from GM.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, there aren't, you know, as far as I'm aware, it's not performing or not even being brought to GM by many headlines.
Yeah, and so we are heading to Game 3 with Staz lining up that Warrior, taking an expected loss there against the Shaman. I wonder if we'll get to see him play it again. Having taken a victory with the Mage, he's now left with his Warrior and I believe his Hunter left over. And honestly, I would be much happier seeing Staz play Hunter in like any matchup because I think it's a
100%.
better deck overall.
Yep. And
And
he
I think
shielded it.
Staz is very good at this Hunter. If there's anyone who's going to take a win with it, it's Staz.
Yeah, Staz gets wins with this class, with this deck as well. He shielded it, and I would just like to see it queued because I'd either like to see it queued for that reason or I'd like to see Warrior queued more just so I can watch it more.
Yeah.
Because any deck that a good player brings to a tournament that I think is bad, I want to watch because I might probably be wrong. Or if I'm not wrong, I want to know why. Or if I'm wrong, I want to know why, right? I kind of want Staz to just send me like HS replay packs
Right,
for his
yeah,
Warrior
yeah.
decks, just to watch the games
Yeah.
and just see what happens. Be very interesting, I think.
Well, I think that's maybe the biggest strength and downside of Staz at the same time is I get the impression that he places an awful lot of stock in his own practice rather than what the stats will say, which is not wrong necessarily at all. The stats, you know, you have to be able to pass through them. You can't just look at the top win percent deck on HS Replay and submit that. It probably won't be the best deck
Yeah.
in your lineup. But I think for Staz, he maybe needs to look a little bit more to what other players are doing, get the opinion of a wider range of practice partners, because a lot of the time I think he's bang on the money, and I think he's because he trusts his own opinion, he ends up with these more different lineups compared to the majority of the other players. But there's a reason why there's a metagame and why a lot of the other players are going with the decks.
So you're saying he has to look more towards the stats and not towards the Staz?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, I got it. So Alutemu is going to be on his Priest in the next game, and Staz is moving to the Hunter. Again, a matchup that he thinks is good for the Hunter, and also that I think is just better than the Warrior. And so something, you know, if we can discover, I guess, if we can speak to Staz if he wins and we get an interview, or I'll just message him anyway, is the thought pattern that maybe the deck performs better, and it depends how Staz practices.
Yeah.
But if you look at ladder stats, those are kind of wishy-washy anyway, because maybe people are playing badly against it because they think it's Control Warrior to start off with, mulligan-wise. Maybe people are just bad against the deck because they're not used to playing against Aggro Warrior, and that maybe inflates the stats to a certain extent and messes with it. But I'm sure Staz knows what he's doing. But anyway, that's enough Warrior talk for now. Luckily, we have no Warrior. We've got Priest versus Hunter. Coming right up, Alutemu on the Priest with the old, is someone injured? Turn 1 with Tolve, Circle, a powered shield, and Derek's either hyperventilating or laughing, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either,
To be honest, either response would be relevant for that opening hand. Why not chuck an extra 1-drop in there as well? Staz, on the other hand, does have a decent side of it himself. It's just, I think everything that Alutemu's going to do is going to be a little bit too quick for this hand to do good.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that could maybe hold Alutemu back is that this hand doesn't win the game quick enough. Like obviously this hand is incredible. He's got a lot of the best cards in the matchup, or just in general, in Cleric, Tolver, and Circle of Healing works beautifully with that. But if he doesn't get to an actual lethal quickly enough, maybe Staz can start to wrestle this back by finding Zephrys, confusing things with secrets. Animal Companion into Hyena Alpha is an incredibly strong tempo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably play that. Because you want to be able to make sure you have the secret active going into turn 4, and Rat Trap is the most likely to be active going into turn 4. Given that you're playing a minion, and therefore Snake Trap will likely activate. Staz disagrees, though.
Well, he might just go secret, 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 right?
Instead of Animal Companion? Really?
What does Animal Companion do?
Puts a Misha on the board, puts a Huffer on the board.
That just looks like things that can damage a cleric so it can heal.
It's true, but
without memeing too much.
How long do you then spend not playing anything? There's nothing with more than 5 attack until you hit, like, turn 6.
I actually more wondered if it was Snipe turn 2 into Rat Trap turn 3. Or into Snake's turn 3.
I am always playing Animal Companion on turn 3 here, I think.
Because the way I'd view it is Snipe stops more minions, all 100% of the time, stops all minions being played. Then you go Snake, which then guarantees a Hyena, and then the Hyena plus Snake Trap like compounds on itself to make a strong turn. Because if they trade into any Hyenas, then the Snake procs and you get more stuff to trade into.
That's true.
So
That's true.
I wouldn't have been upset to see that just logic path go out to say Snipe to buy time, Snake Trap, get hit, and then go Hyenas. Because also with Hyenas and Snakes on the board, if any of them live, then the Animal Companion's better. Animal Companion always better on a more full board.
Of course, yeah. I just don't.
It's very long-term thinking.
Yeah,
But this is the problem, right?
You've got to keep up.
Like what?
I agree, it's unlikely to work. You know,
And Animal
it's a
Companion
miserable
does
situation.
nothing this turn.
Yeah.
I'm actually a little bit surprised he played it over Secret. Because also, any Secret played, make Alutemu test the secrets. Make him think about Pressure Plate. Make him think about Freezing Trap.
I just don't think it does enough.
But this does nothing. This literally does nothing.
Yeah, but we're talking about that average draw, not necessarily in the situation that Alutemu's going. I don't know. What are you expecting to happen by playing Rat Trap? That Alutemu to mess up and play 3 cards in a turn? I just don't think he does that.
Then at least he doesn't do that, right? At least he doesn't have an Omega turn.
He's not doing that anyway because he thinks it's Rat Trap.
Sure, yeah.
And I see your point. Like, maybe the out in this game for Staz is to play to a situation where Alutemu can mess up. You know, if you give him the possibility to make mistakes. But I think more likely than that is that you keep up in terms of tempo and draw, like, Unleash the Hounds here or something.
Right.
And to be fair to Staz, he was able to keep a secret in play heading into turn 4, and he's also basically got the benefit of Rat Trap while not playing Rat Trap.
I wonder.
And this is the situation, I think, for Staz where things start to look a little bit better, because with no Pyromancer available for Alutemu, you know, the snakes could start to be a pretty respectable amount of damage, especially when you factor in the Leox.
Yeah, like I said, the hyenas into with snakes is huge because the hyenas often can't be ignored. The Leoc 100% helps. It's just now I think Alutemu's got a really solid idea on it being snake.
Does he, though? It still could be Rat Trap. He's not sure either way.
Yeah, it's tough, right, though, because I feel like with the snakes, there's always a point in which... Okay, it's hard with Alutemu's hand, right? Because of his exact hand. But I feel like the only time you ever really proc snakes is if you have the way to clear it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of the time you proc Rat Trap because you're making your turns worse, like dramatically worse, by not playing into it.
Absolutely.
So I think it's way more likely that the Rat Trap gets accidentally procced than Snake does,
yeah,
right?
Maybe.
Because why does Alutemu ever really want to trade? Unless he hasn't like an Omega turn in which trading and proccing a potential
It's a fair
snake
point.
gets negated.
Yeah.
It's definitely tough, right? And it's worked out in a reasonable way. And I think Alutemu's kind of bad hand might have helped him out naturally playing around Rat Trap anyway. He's not had the opportunity to go nuts, so
exactly.
the Rat Trap wouldn't get procced. But I think if he had it, I think if he had the opportunity to make a crazy turn, especially with this board, he goes, well, enjoy your 6-6, look at my board.
Fair enough. I don't actually think he's that far enough ahead to say enjoy your 6-6.
No, but I mean, if he had the cards to do a crazy turn, which would, you'd argue, get him
sorry,
far
I
enough
misunderstood.
ahead. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, don't just proc it, don't just play like a Blade Master and 2 Powered Shields.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
I mean, like the whole like Pyro Circle, draw tons of card turn. Have your 6-6, I've drawn my deck.
And that's the thing, while we've been debating a lot about the plays to be made, I think I agree with pretty much everything Staz has done, apart from I know that I would have played the Rat Trap on turn 2 for the reasoning of I want to have the highest chance of getting Hyena Alpha on 4. But honestly, listening to your reasoning, I think you may have actually just been right in playing the snakes. But the problem is for Alutemu is he still doesn't know. He's ruled out, at this point, Pressure Plate because he played a spell, of course. He's ruled out Freezing, Explosive, Snipe.
I mean,
knows it's one of the
he
two.
can get away with Rat Trap again this turn if he really wants, can't he? He can just Power Word, Shield, Psycho Pump.
Yeah.
That's just not bad. He gets a really good minion from Psycho Pump, and he naturally plays right. Like I said, because Alutemu hasn't had the chance to really go off, then if it is Rat Trap, he's probably not too bothered yet. Like, oh, he's going to make the trade and find out the, I guess, good/bad news. The way this has worked out well for Staz now is after all that, Staz is going to play another secret, and then our team's like, oh god, again.
That's so true.
Like, you know, he just did all of that,
Yeah,
procced it, and think, okay, I'm all right. And then he's like, I can't believe you've just done this to me,
All
Staz.
that again.
Still a really close game, though.
Yeah, I'm liking Alutemu's position more and more. The fact that he can still keep drawing with the Cleric. Yeah.
Ziliax trade, put a snake into the rest of it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, whew. I think if the Ziliax was almost any other card, I'd be with you. But Ziliax on the Ursatron right now to just get rid of Reborn, the
with
snake
the
to pick it
having
off.
been gone. I just think that there's so many cards for Alutemu that make it good for him here.
The real problem here is Staz's health,
Yeah.
which I think the Styliax also helps too, because Alutemu doesn't need that much to just kill him. He doesn't need double Divine Spirit a lot of the time. You can just get there quite easy, but I think this turn he just reset the game, except he's kind of in favour, I think, especially with the secret portal.
Again, has he though? Like, Alutemu can clear off the board here with a trade of the, or apart from a Snake, sorry, with the Psychopomp and the Tolvir, he can keep drawing cards. And Staz's follow-up is just not that strong right now. Like, even if we're going for Caster Vision and we're taking into account the actual cards that Staz has in his hand, I still think Alutemu is in the lead.
Okay. The Bond Sam's is definitely nice.
Yeah, that's huge.
Got the one trade, clear everything off with the help of the extra arms. And I guess just drop down the Blade Master?
Yeah, probably over a heal. Yeah.
You just want something there, right?
Yeah, you
You want a heavy hitter on the board.
You're expecting, of course, the Siamat to come down as well, which makes you, I think, more incentivized to just play more minions, so you still have something just in case that comes
That
down.
would be pretty sick, actually.
It would be. Siamat would be pretty sick here.
Told you Staz was
Okay, you absolutely win this round. I concede.
You can triple value this turn.
Yeah, I think that's what you do. The Cleric is by far the most
Yep. Go off the cleric and then be like, haha. Yeah.
But Alutemu has the best card by miles in response.
And then Staz has the best card in response to that.
In
Rat Trap. You've drawn a lot of cheap 1/1s.
yeah.
Try and play them all, friend. He knows his hand is cheap and he has 8 mana. Play a Rat Trap.
he gets one Cleric, but he still had
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
played one,
yeah. Which is, of course, very important to
Ah,
keep the draw rolling.
counter!
What are these draws? Hello?
You get a 7-drop. You get a 7-drop. You get a 7-drop.
Wow. It's like playing GVG again. With Trogzor the Earthinator.
Ah, best card ever released.
Yeah.
How was that card bad? It still blows my mind
boggles
today.
me,
Yeah.
yeah.
How was that card not insane? What happened?
Like, obviously Dr. Boom was an oversight, but how was it bad?
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that card right now versus Priest. I'd play that. If you ever get to turn 7.
Yeah.
Play a spell, you get a minion. Like,
I guess so.
let's go.
I think that you've said the difficult part there in surviving for 7 turns.
Hey, with some of those old school cards, you get there.
But the thing is here for Staz, obviously this was one of the best cards he could get on this turn outside of maybe Deadly Shot to swing the board back in his favor. It means for Alutemu, he's not that far behind, and the best card in Staz's deck has been played.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, besides Zephyros.
And Zul'jin.
I must consider.
In this match, if you ever land Zul'jin in this matchup, you're feeling pretty good about life because you get all your secrets back
Yeah.
and potential deadly shots.
One of the best cards in the
There we
deck
go.
has been played.
Along the lines of, Boom Scheme, right?
Exactly. One of the best cards in the game, as I always say, like Boom Scheme.
So is this going to be Topsy Extra Arms?
He can still fit in Cleric Heal. I like the sound of that.
And also
Oh,
just having
like-
the Pyro down. Just like having Pyro to say, well, if you play stuff, it's going to get killed anyway.
Okay, I guess going wide on board and then going for the Cleric Heal
Playing around Rat Trap.
next turn. Yeah.
Get in while you can, mate. Play those 1-drops.
True, good point. And also just given that he knows that Snip Snap is in play, he wants to have a wide board
I'm
to counteract Snip Snap.
Choosing to believe. Oh yeah, Staz does play Explosive Trap. So he just always plays Subject 9 Rat Explosive, right?
Subject 9, Rat Explosive over Desert Spear. Is that ever better? Just Desert Spear Subject 9. You can kill off the 5/2 Pyromancer, set up a 4/4 in play.
What
and
about-
you have Desert Spear equipped?
What about Desert Spear, kill the Pyro, play
Double
the
Snip
Secrets
Snap?
instead?
Oh, okay.
And then next turn you can like subject 9 secrets.
Sure.
Or subject, because subject 9 like draws in pressure plate explosive.
Yeah. I like playing the Desert Spear on this turn, though. I think killing off the Pyromancer is pretty nice to stop any
Yeah,
nonsense
you're right.
from occurring.
Honestly, I didn't quite at the time we saying explosive see the buff on the
Sure.
the Light Warden, which obviously changes the explosive trap mathematics. Oh, no secrets. I don't know about. I think these secrets are pretty good. Even
He still might play Rat Trap. He might play Rat Trap.
Snipe kills every minion in the deck. Oh, apart from Amit. But still, it does a good job versus Amit.
These are just good value trades, though. I think Alutemu struggles to consistently beat this board.
Okay. My worry is if he puts himself in a position where he doesn't need to actually beat anything, he just beats his
Maybe.
face.
Yeah.
Because the second like this Psycho Pump is a big taunt, for example, the 2/3s don't feel so good. I guess this is going to be a heal turn.
Such a close game, though.
Yeah, and you could argue that with one heal, this board's already more or less dead. Just on board.
Yeah.
He could heal Staz.
Yeah,
And then
of course.
trade, and then remove a lot of it.
But I think the problem is that for Staz, like, say he plays Secrets there, what if Alutemu just goes, like, heal, plays one minion, and then pushes all face? I guess he doesn't know that it's not Explosive Trap is the thinking behind playing Secrets. But I think for Staz, that's starting to get into the territory of I have to draw Zephyrus to pull this board back.
Okay.
Quickly.
An 8/8 obviously available on this turn if Alutemu wants to start attacking. But I think he
Divine
saved
Spirit on the. I think he might save it. Oh.
it. Wow. Okay.
I was actually looking at maybe you do the old bait and switch and have the Divine Spirit on the Blade Master. And say that there are like 2 Wardens that you need to kill,
Yeah,
but now there's a 10 health Blade Master. Well, that's a very secret hand.
So is there any way that Staz can isolate the 8/8? He can't, right? There's just not enough attacks.
No.
Yeah.
So he has to play pressure plate, and trade, and hope.
Yeah. And I think for Alutemu, while this seemed like a... You know, I was thinking he might want to set up... Sorry, for an OTK rather than going with the Inner Fire here. He just threatens so much damage now.
So does he have to go subject 9, explosive pressure plate? The secrets will make Alutemu swing a 1/2 first into
Yeah.
face. So he needs to try and like switch and bait Alutemu in, right?
Sure.
To like make him have the highest chance of a pressure plate doing some work. And he has to just presume that spells are going to be played, right?
Yeah. This is it for Staz, his final chance of being able to pull this one back. And I mean, we can see there's lethal on board, right?
Yep.
And I think Alutemu can also get guaranteed lethal by just attacking face with the 1/2 to play around freezing.
No. Because if you played explosive first, he attacks a minion.
Oh, sorry, attack. Yes, sorry. Attack.
Yeah, attack a minion, and then
Yes.
it's guaranteed. Yeah. Staz doesn't look too happy, and he's going to take a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case you don't know, the reason you attack a minion not face is if explosive was played first, the face attack actually kills the minion before a freezing trap is procced,
Sure.
which then makes the Blade Master freeze and a non-lethal trade directly. But Alutemu's done this before. He's played around secrets, and he knows what's up, and he takes a win over Staz. And again, you know, really don't want to just harp on, but I think it is partly our duty to as casters, but one of Staz's losses was with that warrior deck that I don't put much stock in myself. And again, you have to wonder, what if he queued Hunter? Was that just a better matchup anyway?
I think so.
And then if you know, even if he lost, well, fine, this happens, but
Yep.
I feel like the Warrior's just not pulled its weight in Grandmasters.
Yeah, I think overall just a very low power level deck. A lot of the matchups just don't seem to line up well against it. Whereas the Hunter, we can see it can do very powerful things. It was so close to taking that game versus Priest. It was only really the fact that Alutemu had such a ridiculously strong starting hand that put him in such a good position in that game.
And honestly, you've got to think as well, although Secrets are, of course, I think Secrets are great versus Priest, he drew some of the less impact ones early, and then a lot of his game was drawing Secrets naturally, and then drawing Subject 9, and then drawing Secrets with Subject 9. It's like, well, yes, he got the Hyenas out, he got the Animal Companion, but for example, Unleash the Beast, where was that? Deadly Shots. Like, these cards didn't get drawn and didn't have the impact they normally have in that matchup if they had drawn, in time, I'll say. I'm not even saying on curve, but just even on turn 6, a Deadly Shot's good versus Priest, right? So even just in general. But we have one more match of the day left.